Thank you very much, everybody. Please be seated. It's not possible?
It's not possible.
Some people started when they were.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 2017 annual meeting, the organizational meeting for Monday, December 14th. It's a fairly concise agenda today. First, I'd like to recognize that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Hupetchesett and Sechot First Nations. Councillors, any late items? And City Clerk, any late items? Thank you. Then a motion to approve the agenda circulated would be in order.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Carried. First item, Council, is my annual address. So good evening, everybody. And thank you for coming to the annual organizational meeting of the City of Port Alberni. I don't think I see any Freemen of the City present. No? Okay, thank you. I'd like to begin by recognizing my council colleagues here beside me. These elected officials have been working hard to help make Port Alberni a safe, vibrant, livable city of which we can all be proud. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome city staff. Each of you plays an integral role in making this city a success, a better place. Your efforts and achievements send a positive message to citizens of our city and others beyond our city's borders. As we move into the fourth and final year of our term as a council, I continue to be impressed by the contribution of both councillors and staff. I am pleased with the work that this council has done during our term thus far and proud of the harmony and accord displayed. In a world where civility seems to be diminishing, especially in politics, this council has demonstrated the ability to deliberate and disagree on various issues while remaining respectful of one another. Staff continues to show their dedication to the well-being of Port Alberni by providing council with information and professional advice that supports our informed decision-making on important matters. Your commitment is never lost on this council. As we move into 2018, Council's previously established goals are unchanged. However, some of the strategies to achieve our goals have been adjusted. Our 5 goals for a strong and vibrant economy and city continue to be living within our means, keeping our community connected, protecting our environment, revitalizing our economy and livability, and ensuring we are a responsive government. The city is undergoing an important transition now, one that holds great potential but is also forcing some difficult decisions. The status quo is no longer a viable option. Like cities across this country, we must find ways to deal with aging infrastructure, challenging economic conditions, and the responsibility of creating and maintaining a healthy, sustainable environment. Most recently, like many other small communities, we have seen an emerging new priority, the need to help people living at risk. Issues such as drug addiction, crime, and homelessness were previously regarded to be big city problems. But these issues are at our doorstep. I want to assure you that this council is making every effort to address these issues by looking for new and progressive approaches and by supporting the efforts of agencies and advocacy groups already operational. We anticipate that we will be able to continue building a community where everyone feels safe and welcome. 1 year ago, City Council committed to a course of action that involves sound, long-term financial leadership. Challenges that we face as a community include a lack of growth in population over the past 3 decades, a significant dependence upon taxation revenue from heavy industry, and a need to increase the rate at which we renew our aging infrastructure. The path that we've embarked upon involves increases in taxation each year at the rate of 3% across all property classifications. At the same time, we are controlling increases in our operational expenditures, wherever possible, to no more than 1% per year, a rate which is below the cost of inflation. We know that as we continue on this path, inflation and other cost increases beyond our control will result in the city having to consider alternative ways to deliver services, as well as the strategic reductions of some services. We estimate that continuing on this course will result in an annual increase of funding that the city can direct towards infrastructure renewal, and that after 12 years, this course of action will result in the full amount of taxation from heavy industry being available for infrastructure renewal and upgrades. This will help the city to be less operationally dependent upon taxation revenues from heavy industry, while at the same time using more of those revenues each year to pay for needed infrastructure improvements. Council believes that stable fiscal management with a long-term perspective is in the best interest of the community, and we have directed staff to develop a draft 5-year financial plan that continues us on this path. By being fiscally responsible today, we set the city up for success in the future. A connected community is one that possesses a full complement of high-quality assets that support services such as sewer, drainage, transportation, sanitation, and recycling. Council has made the creation of a comprehensive asset management plan a major priority, and I'm confident that when completed, we will have a sound methodology for effectively budgeting towards sustaining these critical assets for generations to come. One topic of considerable discussion in 2017 has been bike lanes. Council believes strongly that Port Alberni should be a connected community, one in which all people, whatever their economic, mobility, or age status, can move from place to place easily and safely. There is room within our transportation corridors for people to commute by various modes. Whether you walk, bike, run, or jog, active transportation initiatives are creating communities and spaces where people want to be. Implementation of our active transportation plan took a significant step this year with the completion of bike lanes along some of our major corridors. This work was undertaken with the support of a $50,000 grant from Bike BC. By shifting a small part of our focus to moving people through more sustainable modes of transportation, we are fostering a more pedestrian and cycle-friendly city that connects citizens, builds community pride, supports the local economy, and improves the livability and long-term sustainability of the city in which we live. The city continues to consider the best use of an additional $100,000 grant from Bike BC to develop a safe, separated path for cyclists and pedestrians along the Stamp Avenue corridor, thus further connecting both sides of our city. The city of Port Alberni is extremely fortunate to have a rich natural environment, including a majestic ocean inlet and rivers, wildlife corridors, meandering creeks, and significant wetlands. We continue to exercise care while working towards completion of the city's new wastewater treatment facility. During 2017, the city received a grant of $6.9 million from the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund program. Combined with grants received in previous years for earlier phases of this project, the city has now received a total of $18.1 million in grant funding for the project, with a total projected cost of $27.8 million. Once completed, the new wastewater treatment facility will enable the city to decommission its existing lagoon, returning that area to natural habitat. The project will also result in a higher level of effluent treatment and improved deep water dispersal. In recent years, the city has also made considerable progress in reducing our carbon footprint and our consumption of energy. Projects such as the installation of LED streetlights and beginning to convert our vehicles, wherever it makes operational sense, to hybrid or electric vehicles have demonstrated the city's commitment to environmental protection. Now it's time for the city to consider a significant investment into solar electric power generation. To that end, the city will be issuing a request for proposal in an effort to seek the best value solar generation project for one or more city-owned facilities. Such a project might be the first of several for the city and will serve as a benchmark for both the public and private sectors. For much of Port Alberni's history, the recipe for our economic success was simple: a strong forest industry bolstered by healthy pulp and manufacturing sectors. But this once drove growth and prosperity for our city. But with these sectors now a fraction of their former size, we all recognize that one-dimensional focus must change. The city's Economic Development Department has identified 6 broad sectors of the economy within which Port Alberni is well situated for growth. We anticipate that for each of these sectors, a cluster will develop. These sectors include aerospace and air transport, agriculture, including in the marine environment, education, forestry with an emphasis on emerging maximized value wood biomass technologies, shipbuilding and marine transportation, and tourism. Job creation and development will continue to be important drivers of our local economy, but being a livable community in which people choose to reside is emerging as a critically important part of the equation. Projects such as the creation of Millstone Park, the further development of a waterfront park at the former plywood site, and the refurbishment of Recreation Park are examples of the city's commitment to improving the livability of this community. But there's more work to be done. If you have ideas or if you want to volunteer, we want to hear from you. We greatly value being responsive to the community's needs and desires. A responsive government is a responsible government, and we are committed to being open and transparent. When this council was first elected, we heard a lot from our constituents about the city-owned McLean Mill. Some folks told us that McLean Mill was not relevant to them and that they resented city funds being directed that way. In 2015, the city started down a path to recreate McLean Mill. We received assistance from some dedicated volunteers who rolled up their sleeves and got to work on developing a new governance model, a new business plan, and a whole new approach to the way McLean Mill was managed and operated. We still have a lot of work to do, but we are well on our way to having addressed the concerns that we heard. During 2017, there was a renewed vibrancy at McLean Mill. Under the guidance of the McLean Mill Society Board of Directors, McLean Mill is becoming what we wanted it to be. A place that we can all be proud of, a place that is managed in a fiscally responsible manner, and one that is beginning to take its place as one of our economic drivers. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that while we are moving forward in a new direction at McLean Mill, the community owes a debt of gratitude to the volunteers of the Western Vancouver Island Heritage Society who have helped to build, restore, and maintain many of the industrial heritage assets that we enjoy today, including those at McLean Mill. The city looks forward to a continuation of our relationship with the Industrial Heritage Society, albeit in a different form. One of the things that challenge members of council is directing our efforts where they should be directed, at the policy level. In order for the city to thrive and for this municipal government to be responsive to the needs of the community, council needs to continue to function at a high level, the policy setting level. Much of our success has been as a result of our ability to stay focused on establishing policies that form the framework within which our staff and volunteers operate. Finally, I would like to note the progress we have made on reconciliation. In this, the year of reconciliation, I am proud as a lifelong Alberni Valley resident that my community has taken steps forward to truth and reconciliation. Through the newly formed Reconciliation Committee, we look to strengthen relationships with our First Nations, increase cultural awareness and understanding, and support a welcoming and inclusive community. Following this speech, Council will be considering appointments to the city's various committees. My thanks go to the many citizens who volunteer their valuable time to serve on the city's boards, commissions, and committees. Specifically, I want to thank outgoing members Seva Dollywall, Wes Hewitt, and Hedley Crowther, who have all provided their contributions as members of the Advisory Planning Commission. Thanks also to Ken Whiteman and Russ McLaughlin, who have contributed their time and expertise to the Community Investment Program Committee. We will confirm new appointees to the Community Investment Programs in the new year. I would like to welcome new appointees to the Planning Commission, Jeanette Nichols, Don Furster, and Sandy McClure. Thanks also to Libby Manson and Gareth Flostrand, who have agreed to be reappointed to the Alberni Valley Heritage Commission for another term. Special thanks also to those who sit on the newly formed Reconciliation Committee: Cynthia Dick, Ann Robinson, Ian Benoit, Jim Tatouche, Rick Hewson, Sheena Faulkner, Wally Samuel, and Cherie Minions. I would also like to recognize all the members of our dedicated staff who retired in 2017. They include Jacob Coline, Ingrid Dannenberg, Dawn Dunbar, Teresa Kingston, Tanya Meek, Les Norden, Bert Poles, Neil Ruel, and Barb Wilkins. My best wishes to all of them. This council has set our sights on some very ambitious projects for the City of Port Alberni over the next year, the last in our mandate. I look forward to continuing with the same vigor and enthusiasm that we have collectively brought forth in recent years. Our agenda is ambitious, but by working together, I have no doubt that we will achieve success. In closing, on behalf of your city and city staff, I wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season and best wishes as we anticipate the new year. I move that the City Council annual address be received. All in favor? Carried. And now, we're on to our 25-year Employee Recognition Awards. 25 years. Long time. If you were in the RCMP, that'd be enough to retire, wouldn't it? Yes. 10 years to go. Okay. So the first set of 25-year employee recognition awards will be made by the fire chief, Chief Gilday, and they go to Herbert Nadig and Ed Franker.
Council, it's my pleasure tonight to introduce two members of the fire department who have achieved the 25-year recognition level. The first is Captain Herb Nadig. Herb, will you stand up? Captain Herb Nadig, he started with the department in 1992 as a firefighter, and then worked through his career and spent some time as an acting captain, and then was promoted to captain in 2008. And second is Captain Ed Francoeur. Ed also started with the department in 1992 and worked his way through as a firefighter, and then was promoted to captain in 2012. These two members have played a significant role serving the community and providing strong leadership to the department, and that both Herb and Ed are recipients of the Fire Service Exemplary Service Award, which means you spend 20 years in the department and half of that must be in dangerous situations, so they really achieved a lot. When I looked into their histories, a few things stuck out and I felt should be mentioned. Each of these individuals has received several commendations for their response efforts to emergencies in the community over the last 25 years, and that we're lucky to have individuals like this working for the city. And as a new fire chief coming in, it's these individuals that I look to for help and some guidance with the department and the direction it's going, and they have stepped up and provided me a great service for the last year. So the second thing that I think is worth mentioning is back when they did apply, their applications were partially written using a typewriter, so they've really come a long way. So Ed and Herb, congratulations.
So I believe we're going to get some photos taken, are we? Yes. And then there will be individual photos, there will be a group photo taken afterwards. So where are we having the photo taken? And who's taking the photo? The professional. Okay. Thank you very much. 25 minutes. Thank you. I know.
Thorn between two roses.
Yeah. Okay, you happy with it? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Our next Our next two 25-year employee recognition awards be made by Wilf Takema, and that's Jeanette Harrison, I don't believe was able to make it this evening, and Al Wazell. And Al's here.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I do have the privilege to introduce two individuals from the Works Department who have worked for the city for 25 years. Unfortunately, like you said, one couldn't be here this evening. So a little bit about Jeanette Harrison. Jeanette's worked on and off at the Public Works Yard for 25 years as an operations clerk, as storekeeper, as timekeeper. That's not like a referee and timekeeper. That's in putting time into the payroll system. Also as a first aid attendant. So she's often the first point of contact for the public when they're having issues with water, sewer, roads, and quite literally she takes it in the ear. So I give her a lot of kudos for that. So my thanks and appreciation go out to Jeanette for 25 years of service in Public Works. Secondly, Al Lazell. So Al started his career with the city in '92 in the skate patrol and a worker in the arena skate shop. After working at the arena for several years, Al did work as summer laborer. He also in the arena maintenance, and finally coming to the Parks Yard in 2000. In 2001, Al got a full-time posting in the streets department, and where he's been ever since. And he's held a number of postings, including as a laborer, street service person, a traffic service person, so signs and streets and pothole patching, that sort of thing. Driving truck. Al also drives backhoe for us and currently holds a posting as a street sweeper operator. So a posting currently. So Al, congratulations on 25 years of service and thanks. I just wanted to say he makes this a cleaner place for us to live.
That's
and
right.
See him going around.
He's the guy that drives by your house with the street sweep at 7 a.m.
That's him.
Because it was a good job.
Great.
Okay, our next 25-year Employee Recognition Award goes to Shayla Britton, and Mark Zenko, I believe, is going to be presenting this.
Mr. Mayor and Council, fellow staff and public, it's my honor to, or it's my privilege to honor Shayla Britton here today. Just taking a look at Shayla, she must have started when she was 10 with the city of Port Alberni. We're very proud to have had her as long as we've had. She started at the arena, spent about 8 years there, and then moved on to the maintenance department where she spent the majority of the rest of her career. Spent evenings working at the pool. I don't know how she did that and managed to raise a family all at the same time. Probably ships in the night, I would think. And then for the last couple of years, she's been taking over looking after City Hall and the Public Works Yard. Shayla's one of those employees that we can really count on. She's old school. She knows how to clean, how to do her job well, and when you know that when she's been through, then it's done right. Shayla?
You know, this is the wonders of going to the gym all the time. You have to present shit. And our Manager of Human Resources, Krista Tremblay, is going to be presenting to Rondi Shanks.
So I will start by saying I'm obviously a little bit more long-winded than the people before me, so please bear with me. But I'm really pleased tonight to have the opportunity to help to recognize all of our employees who have reached 25 years of service, and specifically one that I have the privilege of working closely with regularly, and that's Rondi Shanks. So to say the least, Rondi is one of our employees who has done a lot of very different work for the city of Port Alberni during her 25 years with us. She's worked in most of our facilities, working both inside and outside, doing a number of different positions in a variety of different departments. Rondi started her career in 1992, but was hired as a... when she was, her and Shayla, both hired when they were 10. But she was hired in September of 92 as a recreation programmer looking after youth programs shortly after she graduated from the University of Victoria. And now pretty soon after this, due to some changes in the organization, she took a position in the Parks Department, working as a laborer, and then also spent time in the Maintenance Department. In a variety of locations, spending some time down at Harbour Quay. By 96, Rondi was working full-time at the arena as a maintenance employee, and I'm sure many of you will remember during that time seeing her driving the Zamboni at the old arena. From there, she shifted her career a bit and made a move to be the maintenance supervisor for Echo Center and the pool. Very big job, had a very large staff and was responsible for overseeing the maintenance activities at those two facilities. She did that for 7 years. And then in 2006, she decided to make another change in her career when she moved back to the Parks Department and back to the outside world, taking a posting as an equipment operator. Again, I bet there's a lot of people who remember seeing her operating a lot of the parks equipment around our city during that time. And from there, she returned to her roots as a recreation programmer for a short stint, or a year stint in 2008, and then again in 2012 more permanently. And there she worked until she took her current role in 2014. Currently, Rondi's the city's occupational health and safety coordinator and return to work coordinator. And as I said, Rondi's done a lot of different things for the city. She's developed a wealth of knowledge. She knows our people, she knows our job, she knows our equipment, and I think that all of that experience has served her well in her current role. Rondi is one of those people that always has a smile on her face. She's always upbeat. She has a great attitude, and that's just one of the many things that I appreciate when I'm working with her. The other thing I'd like to note specifically about Rondi is just her level of commitment. Her commitment to the health and safety of our employees is unwavering and truly commendable. She truly cares about our employees and about doing everything that she can in her role to make sure that they're working safely in their jobs. And she does a great job of it. I feel lucky that I get to work with someone like Rondi, and I'm very happy to be able to congratulate you on 25 years of service with the City of Port Alberni. Thank you.
And our last two recipients will receive their Employee Recognition Awards from Willithorpe, Director of Parks, Recreation and Heritage.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to honor Karina this evening. And Karina and I have only had the opportunity to work for 3 months together. And so upon hearing about her 25 years of service, I went on a bit of a reconnaissance mission and tracked down some of the staff that have worked very closely with her for the past 25 years. And it's amazing. I couldn't believe when I approached some of those folks directly, like Mickey and Lori and Dawn, and the themes that emerged from all three. First of all, we're very fortunate that we've been able to hang on to Karina in Parks, Rec, and Heritage for her career. You've heard a lot of themes that there's a lot of folks that have moved through Parks, Rec, and Heritage, so we take lots of credit for that. And we've been very fortunate to have Karina. So some of the items that I wanted to key in on is Karina's willingness to help and jump in on any situation. She's completely unflappable. She's an absolute gatekeeper at our aquatic center that ensures all young and old folks feel very, very comfortable in the community. And again, it's her unwavering commitment to everyone who walks in that door, feels absolutely comfortable with her there, does a tremendous job. Her thoughtfulness and kind nature, again, I can't stress enough that that sort of quiet confidence and everyone feels so fortunate to be in her presence. Karina's dependability, always calm, cool, and collected, no matter the situation. I mean, for heaven's sake, she's even stopped to teach little ones how to tie their shoes when they're in our lobbies. So, Karina, you're an exceptional member of our team. We're very fortunate to have you, and we're very much looking forward to the next 25 years that we get to spend together. Thank you.
So, Dr. Morton's going to present the next recognition award.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor and Council and staff and families, supporters. It's my privilege to be able to announce and congratulate Sandra Oikel for serving the City of Port Alberni for 25 years. She's been a real asset to the museum. Unlike some of the other people you've heard about, she's worked at the museum the whole time. In fact, started a couple of years before that, I just heard, as a contract worker before she was actually employed by the city. To give you an idea of how long ago 1992 was, we've heard that a little bit. We heard about typewriters. When Sandra started, she was working in the dark room there. She was the photo tech. And as sort of seen through the photographic collection, through digitization, organization, that's why she was originally hired on a grant at the museum. And she sort of fostered that collection, worked that collection through to the state it's at today. 17,000 some odd records that are available digitally on the web. So the heritage, the history of Port Alberni is really out there for everybody to see. Sandra is locally born and bred, raised here, was just telling stories about how there were stairways on 8th Avenue School that some of the kids slid down, but she didn't, of course. Graduated from ADSS, started working for the museum again in 1990-92 as a permanent position. Sandra is willing to jump in for just about anything that needs doing in the museum. She's developed expertise in not only in photos, but in mounting, exhibit and display fabrication. Anything that needs doing, she's learned how to do and does effectively, is always there when we need her. She's really an integral part of the staff and the team at the museum. We would have trouble getting along without her. So thanks very much and congratulations, Sandra.
Group photo. Group photo.
Group photo.
cuddle up.
So you tell us whether or not you can see it.
You know what? This is going to be the cover page of our annual report. So punch it up.
So make it a good photo.
Seriously, punch it up. This is going to be a good picture. There you go.
Okay, just remember, 25 years, that's a quarter of a century.
Oh, that's a big hit. Wow.
Okay. Council, our next item is for regional district directors. And we do have a motion there. I'd like somebody to make that motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
That council for the city of Port Alberni appoint Mayor Rattan, allocated 5 votes, and Councillor McClellan, allocated 4 votes to the positions of Director of the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District. Alternates shall be in order: Councillor Paulson, Councillor Minions, Councillor Alberni, Councillor Sauvé, Councillor Washington.
Is there a seconder?
Second that, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Carried. And for the Vancouver Island Library Board, someone wish to make that motion? Councillor.
Sure.
Okay, Councillor Paulson.
Step right up, you guys. I would move that.
There is one correction though, and that is that the alternate would be Councillor Sauvé, not me.
Oh, okay. I move that Councillor Minions be appointed to the Vancouver Island Library Board for a term of 1 year, January 1st to December 31st, 2018, and that Councillor Sauvé be appointed as the alternate.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Carried. And now we have appointments to committees and commissions. Council, I should just explain something, and that is we will be considering, there's 2 motions there, and the second one is that we consider the discharging the Youth Advisory Committee, because that committee can be covered quite nicely, we believe, through the Parks and Recreation. So the first one, representatives, would someone like to make that motion? Councillor Sauvé?
That the appointments to committees and council representatives to public bodies, commissions, and select committees be adopted as circulated.
Is there a seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Carried. And the second one?
That the Youth Advisory Committee established by resolution of council on January 12, 2015 be discharged.
Is there a seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And we have schedules of meetings. The first one is for regular meetings. Would someone like to make that motion?
Daniel.
Councillor Washington?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the 2018 annual regular meeting schedule of the City Council be approved as circulated.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor? Councillor McClellan.
Mr. Mayor, I'm wondering if it's accurate. I didn't even read it. I'm sorry. But December the 3rd, the inaugural meeting, should that not be in a meeting in November with the new elections in October instead of November?
Yes, there's a couple of meetings there that we may have to adjust, but we can make those adjustments later on as we need to.
This would be kind of hard for the new council not to be inaugurated for the first month.
There's actually, I believe, 3 meetings in the schedule that we're going to have to adjust.
Okay, thank you.
So, knowing that, council, that we will have to adjust these meeting minutes or meeting dates, we can do that later. So, all those in favor as they are circulated. Carried. And committee and commission meetings. You have a mover for that one? Councillor Minions?
that the 2018 meeting schedules for the Advisory Planning Commission, Alberni Valley Heritage Commission, Audit Committee, and Advisory Traffic Committee, Committee of the Whole, Food Security and Climate Disruption Committee, and Seniors Advisory Committee be approved as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming to our annual organizational meeting. As I said in my opening remarks, we're heading into Christmas holidays. So everybody have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe and well. A motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody.